Hey, good morning and welcome back once again to Jack's Tech Corner for another Photography Weekly. This is episode number 80 for Sunday, March the 3rd, 2013. So what's in store for you guys today? Well, we told you for a while, and today we're going to be bringing you a live shoot. I know most people enjoy the live shoots because you can see what's going on in the studio, and I think it makes a big difference. And today we're going to be working with controlling lighting, and we're going to be using grids and speed lights. And I also have a hair light set up for you this week to kind of demonstrate that. And we will talk about its purpose and its uses. Also, if we get time after the live shoot, we're going to do a little bit of joy of using Lightroom to increase the overall beauty of our pictures. So with that said, folks, let's go ahead this week and get started with episode number 80. Okay, guys, so, oh my goodness. First thing I wanted to do there is welcome everybody into the show here. We are going to talk about the people in the chat room. The chat room is actually filling up this morning, and I do appreciate you coming over. If you're watching the show on Justin TV, in the Justin TV chat room, I have a link there. Click that link, and that will take you to our web page that will get you into our chat room. We don't use the Justin TV one, so we are now, instead, we are bringing it live to you through a private IRC. So, good morning to you, Cheryl. Good morning, Debbie, Jessica, June. Good morning, MC, Mike JP, Peter in the UK, and Sharon, as well as everybody else out there this morning. Good morning to you. Glad you made it in here this week. This is another live shoot. Debbie was just having some trouble there with the feed, but apparently you now have it playing. If you're looking at my web page, this is the thing about that web page. If you look at that web page and you bring it up, I don't have autoplay engaged, so you have to hit the play button to get that player to start playing on your web page. So that's just the way it's going to work there. As you see here today, we are going to be using the iPad for chatting because we're going to be working in a studio shoot here this morning. And I'm going to have to make sure, it's going to be hard to get the transition going here, but I have my lapel microphone we're going to have to get set up here and ready to go. You don't usually do this stuff on camera, but seeing this is a corded version of the microphone, in other words, there's a cord on it, and it just fell out of the thing here. But it does tend to work well, so we will be using this little lapel microphone here today, so you guys should be able to hear me okay. But I thought first what we would do before we got started in the studio shoot, what we're going to start with first is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we're going to control the light of our speed lights today, and why do you want to do that. Mary, which is my model, a lot of you guys know that, my wife, she asked a while ago, she's seen some pictures in a magazine, she said, I'd like to have my picture done like this. And all it basically was, it was a black background, and the person had a black shirt on, a dark shirt, and they were illuminating just kind of her face, okay, or the person's face or facial features. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do today. It's easy to light a whole person, right? We've learned that. We can use umbrellas, we can use soft boxes. It's a piece of cake, no problem whatsoever. But today we're going to be using what is known as grids. Now I'm going to show you a grid here. And this is really nice to control your light. If you see this, this happens to be a 1/4 inch grid. And you can see me through there. The holes are pretty big. But what happens is when you put your flash behind there, your speed light, and the light is more directional straight through those holes. We call those honeycomb holes, right? Or some people call them beehive holes, whichever. But it works very nicely. And the other one we're going to be using, because I found this one here, and we're going to demonstrate with this, but this one here has a lot of spill light. And what spill light is sometimes it will allow the background to be illuminated or something to be illuminated that you don't want lit up. So what we're going to talk about using also is I bought a Let me make sure I got this right here. I also bought a 1/8 inch honeycomb. Now, if you look at this, the holes are a lot smaller, and I'm sure you can see it on camera. So it's a lot more directional. It's more straight out and right into where you want the light to be. So it's very easy to guide the light with this. Now, you can buy these. I think Rogue sell these things. They sell them for about something like $50 each. But here, so don't run off when you heard that, because I found them, like I always do. I go on eBay and I look for knockoffs. And this company here is called Optica. It's OPTEKA.com. Someone to throw that in the chat room for me. www.opteka.com. And I found these things, these little babies here on, it was probably on Amazon. So either check Amazon or eBay. I bought them brand new, and I think I might have paid $5 a piece for these or something like that. Very, very inexpensive. That's why I bought the two different ones. That is why I bought the 1/4 inch here and the 1/8 inch here. Oh, there we go. So we have both of those to work with today, and I'm going to show you how they're set up, because they set up with Velcro straps. I mean, like anything else does. Here's your Velcro strap, and this will go around our speed light, and we'll take a look at that here in just a little bit, how that actually goes on there, and this gets connected to that. I'm just looking here. I want to make sure I can follow along in the chat room to see what's going on here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Jessica's already saying thanks to Mary. That's good. Let's see. And Jake did make it in there. Good morning to you, Jake. And I think Kevin is in there also. I didn't see where he's at there, but I didn't see him in the chat room yet, but I see that he must have came into the room. So good morning to you also. Okay, so that is the grids that we will be using for this shoot this morning. This morning also, I wanted to make it more realistic for everybody out there, because let's face it, we don't have money to buy these lenses. You know, this is the 24x70 Sigma. You know, you're going to sink in about $800 for that lens. People say all the time, it's like, Jack, we want to get started shooting indoors. We want to shoot in low lighting, but we can't afford those lenses. And, you know, I couldn't for years either. And I've been blessed kind of because I was able to get different, you know, photographing gigs out there and doing a lot of weddings and stuff. So I put the money back into gear. That's how I got started. But this little baby here is a 50mm fixed lens. Now this is a Nikon. Canon makes one also. And this is a f1.8. So it's good, very, very good in low light. And it works very, very well. Again, it's 50mm fixed, so we can't turn it or do anything with it. But it's a very, very fast optical lens. And here's the kicker. It's about $140. So $140, you have a great lens. It's a very low profile on the camera, and that's what we're going to be shooting with today to show you that this is a great, great portrait lens. We're going to do some great stuff with this. What I did have to do there, I was originally going to shoot at ISO 400, and the reason is because these lights, when you're trying to direct power and control your lighting, the one thing you're going to learn is the lights themselves, or the power is set so low. So the power is very, very low set. And when you do that, you're only getting a small burst of light. So you would think the ISO has to be up a little bit. But I'm going to keep it down so we can get the f-stop even wider, so I can open it up a little bit for you guys and we can see how that looks. So we are now going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead, switch over here and go in the studio and show you how these are actually, this grid spot is connected to the flash. We're going to do that now. So let me switch over here and we'll get started in the studio. I'm going to take the iPad with me so we can watch along with the chat room there. So in case anything goes wrong, I'm sure you guys will let me know immediately. So let's switch over here to the studio, and let me change mics here. Okay, so now we're going to be on this mic here. Can everybody still hear me okay? And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear me just fine there. Looking at the chat room to make sure. Bring this up here for a minute. Oh, that just flipped on me. All right. right, let me get the headphones off here. So we should be okay now, and you guys should be hearing everything just fine. It looks that way. Let me stand up here, move over to the other side of the room. You'd think one day I'm going to buy myself a wireless microphone. You think that would be a good idea? Okay, so there we go. We're over here now. Here is my my first speed light is actually on my stand here, on my light stand right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this speed light, pick it up, and put the Velcro strap on here now. So this is the Velcro strap, and all it does, it just goes right around the head here of your speed light. So we'll just go right around the head, right there. And pull it back just a little bit. I like to have it down a little bit so it's a little tighter. And in practice, make this thing as tight as you can. All right, this is very, very important to be tight. All right, now I did leave the grids over there for some reason, some strange reason anyway. All right, grab these grids. I dropped the Velcro on the floor. All right, take us over here. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to start out with the 1/4 inch grid with the bigger grid spot. So all you do is put this on here, just stick it on here, and then this Velcro is going to stick right to the Velcro on the sides of this thing. Just like this and like that. Then I just make sure it's pretty tight on there. We're going to show you here, you should be able to see a flash come out of this thing. Turn it on here. And you probably have seen that already, how that flash is so really controlled and really dense there. The flash is really narrowed down a lot. But it's going to be even more so when we use the 1/8 inch than it is with the 1/4 inch. We're going to turn this around. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be using this light to trigger our secondary strobe. You should be able to see the secondary strobe. Let me see if I can get this microphone off of here a little bit here, see where this is. There we go. You should see the secondary strobe. It's up here on top. This is our hair light. You should be able to see where I'm pointing at right here. And it's on a boom, and it's above the person's head. That's what makes it a hair light, right? It's going to light the hair. And we're going to turn this, and we're going to try to control this light so we don't illuminate this backdrop. Because the trick is today is we want to be sure that this backdrop is not lit, because we just want the face illuminated. And that's why we're going to try to make this a very, very tight lighting situation. I do naturally have my light meter out, which I've seen some of you have purchased since the last show. Some of you are renting, or whichever you want to do. But you know, a light meter always comes in handy. Is there any questions so far? Let's see. The light is out of the frame, Jessica says. Well, let's bring it in the frame here. We're going to try to bring this up a little bit. Let's see if I can see it now here. You should be able to see it now. It's right here where I'm pointing. You can see it now, right? Everybody can see that light. Again, this is the Young Nuo flash up here. So it's a very, very inexpensive flash. It is on a very inexpensive boom, which that boom itself is, if you watched the show last night, what happened with that boom was it's about $30 boom. Don't ever spend $30 for a hair light boom like it's a cross boom. Spend, you know, $100 for it, because this one is very cheaply made, and it's just not going to do the trick for us. It is holding that right now, so that's good enough. It's very light. All right, you guys can see the light now up there. Everybody was saying it was out of the shot. I just want to see here now if we're going to have the model in the shot. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be all right. So I think we'll be just fine there. with no problems whatsoever. Okay. Now, as I said, this light's going to trigger this light up here. So, and we're going to try to use this light right now with no modifier on it, just to see what kind of shots we're going to get with this thing. So, yeah. Bring this down here. And we'll actually turn this on. It's already in S1 at about a half power. We're going to cut that power down to about 1/16. I think that would be fair. About 1/16. Put this back up there real quick, like this. And we should now be able to trigger that with this one. And it is. So if you've seen that, they both actually fired at the same time. All right. So with that said, now we're going to go ahead and set the camera up. We're going to get our meter readings here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Mary up here real quick. I know she's anxious to get on and get off. She has things she has to do today. And get some of these shots to be started to be taken here. Let's see. All right. Let me just see here in a minute where she may be. Okay, so she is on her way up here, and she is going to be coming very, very soon. I got wires, crossing wires, and Mary always loves that because she's waiting for one day for me to trip and just fall right into my wiring. I think is what she's waiting on, actually. We'll get the camera plugged in here because we are going to be tether shooting today, again. Like we have done many, many times before. They said it was very nice of you to do this again. Okay. Anyway. Okay, I'll get you over there. Oh, go. Looks like my dog wants in the shot. All right. Okay, so Mary is here. Hopefully you can see her, all right? Let's see. Yep, right there. There she is. All right. What we're going to talk about now is trying to get these shots in and starting to get this shoot done here. So let me switch over here to our other cameras. We may have to bring that camera down, folks, a little bit. All right, let me take a quick shot here, just see if it works. See if everything works here. And it looks like now we're up. Okay. So now we are operational here once again. Sorry about all the technical difficulties that are going on. Just going through the chat room here also really quickly here. Apparently Kevin got his camera fixed. That's good. But it was $250 since it was out of warranty. That is bad. Yeah, that's not good at all. Okay, let's see. We are here. And just see here. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get shooting here. So you can see where that's the first shot, and you can see how the hair light already is coming down on top of the head, and it's actually illuminating the hair. So it's a very nice light. But you see the problem there, what's happening is it's also illuminating the background. Okay, we don't want the background illuminated because we want a black background. As well as you can see in the face, her face right there is lit, but the one side is not. So we're going to move this light up a little bit, kind of around this way. That's a hair light. That's what this is right here.
Right. Isn't that giving you the backlight?
Right. So what we have to do is, when you have that happening, is we are going to actually have to just make a little shim up there to make sure that light does not come on the backdrop like that, does not come down. So What we want to do is we actually have some tape here, so you don't have to be too fancy with this stuff. We're going to use our white sheet of paper. I'm going to put this behind that light, so you want to stand up for a minute there. All right. All right, so we're going to get this and we're going to fan this light so it doesn't hit the backdrop. So it comes more straight down. Again, this is just a piece of paper, so it doesn't cost us anything, right? Pull it off your printer. We can actually shape this light and point this light down. Okay, go ahead and sit down now. We're going to try to take another shot, and we're going to make sure that we don't have that light coming on this backdrop. We want it to be coming more down. So we're going to try it there, see what kind of picture we get now. Nope, we're going to try it right there and see where we're at. We'll get a reading. The light. Still 5.6. We're still okay. Let's take a shot. And again, this is just with the 50mm lens. It's nothing, not a big fancy lens. Uh-oh, too tight. We don't like that shot at all. Let's go back a little bit. Go back. Look this way. All right, let's see what we got now. Okay. All right, but you see now how the light's coming around. We have more light coming on Mary's face. We have the hair light coming down now, and it's not illuminating the backdrop anymore. So it was really easy to set that up. I like how Brian says that, duct tape to the rescue. Duct tape is used for a lot of stuff. And people tell you, they always tell you to go out and buy gaffer's tape, is what it really is called. You get it from the music and audio industry. Oh, and it would be great if we could see the magazine picture that you want to emulate. I told him you've seen this in a magazine somewhere. This shot.
Online. It was for the Oscars.
It was for the Oscars. It was online, so that's where it was at. So.
Black and white, and they were just showing the people presenting.
So there you go, black and white shot, and they seen different people presenting, and and that's the shot you want. You want to use a dark shirt like that and be able to illuminate the person without illuminating a lot of the backdrop. But you see the reasoning that we use a hair light. You see why it's so important to have that hair light, so you can actually lighten up. You know, put a little highlight in the hair. Now we're going to try those. We're going to go from a 1/4 inch grid, and we're going to go down to an 1/8 inch grid. Now, what I noticed before when I was playing around with the 1/8 inch grid was, when you go with a smaller grid pattern, sometimes you're going to need more power to boost this thing up. So let's go ahead with this one. Hold this one off. Take this off. Once again, that's the 1/4 inch grid. And we'll now go with the 1/8 inch grid. So we're going to leave it in the same place. We're going to get another reading. And remember, that reading was just 5.6. Okay, so let's get another reading here. Right there. And now it's a 6.3. So we know the quality of light actually changed, because now we got to have a more open f-stop. Or I'm sorry, close down f-stop, because we're getting that direct burst of light. So we're going, what, 6.3. All right. I'm going to try to back off a little bit, because Mary really didn't like the tight shot. So we'll try to come back off a little bit and get a good shot here. And we'll see what kind of picture we get. Now you can see how drastic it is, how the lighting pattern changed, but it's definitely more flattering, I think. It is, because it's more flattering because you don't have this burst of shadowing on that one side there. So, but it looks like, what side is that anyway? This side should be this side. That side should be that side. So we are going to come on with the light just a little bit more this way and see what we get. All right, let's take another shot here. Yeah, again, it looks nice. It's a nice, flat, very flattering light because it's a really concentrated light. And what's nice about it is we don't have the backdrop illuminated. Let's try to take a portrait shot and see how that works out. Should be about the same. This way. Okay. I think the other way was better with less of the neck area. Take another one of those. Okay. And there you go. Yep, I like those. So let's look at the chat room there and see what everybody is saying. Try to find out what's going on here with everything. Yeah, Brian said that the lighting is good, but the face was elongated a little bit because of the angle. Jake said the angle of the whole the picture itself. And Debbie said there's a lot of light on the neck, so we're going to move the light up a little bit and try to get it off the neck area and bring it more up onto the face area and see if we can't clear that up a little bit. Right there. Let's try this and see what we get. See where we're at now. You can see really, yeah, where the whole face is really illuminated because the light's up. You can see I raised the light up here. So we have it more up. And the direction with these honeycomb, with the grid, is coming more straight out. So you could really see the effect. I love shooting with these grids because I like being able to direct my light more than the umbrella where we just blasted light all over somebody. Now there should be ways, and I know there is ways that we can actually get more lighting on the hair. You can get more of the hair light going on there. We can actually turn that a little bit. I think we're going to do that. Turn it just a little bit there. Again, you can't turn it much because the stand that I purchased is don't buy your stands like that off of eBay because they're just not worth it. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and power this light down a little bit. So let's go down to 1/16 power and see where we're at. That one. All right. So we're at 4.0 now. So let's try this. Let's shoot that at what did we turn it down to? 1/16. 1/16 power. We're going to shoot that at the same setting at 6.3 and see where we're at. Let's look at this one. Because sometimes you want a different shot of somebody, but you don't want it the same. So if I would have turned that f-stop and opened it up more, we would have left the same amount of light in. So you see that. Now let's show you that we're going to leave the same light in. It's crazy. It's actually still taking readings over there. Here. Hold on. What's that one? 4.0. So we're going to take our f-stop. We're going to open up to 4.0. And I'll look at your questions in the chat room after this shot. There you go. And as you notice, remember the backdrop here, all this backdrop is this is actually my reflector. That's the back of the reflector. Yeah, and that's actually too bright now, so we're getting really, really bright. We're going to drop it down to F5. Look this way. Okay. Good. Let's take a look here at F5. Yeah, and there you go. And there you and that's a good point. A good thing to learn today about this live shoot today is, even though we're using a light meter, and you know, light meters are great for a starting point, don't let this thing control your life. Be creative. The reason our cameras have a manual mode and we can turn settings is because we're creative people. If you see, like that last shot looked really, really well lit, well, that's great, but it was too bright, so we just changed some settings ourselves. Okay, we are going to look at some questions in here, and let's see. Kevin said the online stuff looks a little distorted. I don't know why that would be. Let me take a look here real quick at the settings of this picture-in-picture aspect of it here. Let's see. It looks like it's right. Oh, you know what that's coming through, Kevin, I think, is because the way it's being broadcasted. That's why. It's being broadcasted in a very square format, and that's just the Justin TV issue there that we can't really get around. Can't eliminate that. So yeah, that's why it looks like that. We're seeing it here on a monitor. It looks like it's a widescreen monitor, so we can see it as a wide picture. So that's the difference. Let's see. And Brian, that is why. That's why the face is elongated, again, because we're shooting widescreen here, but you guys are seeing it very, very square picture on your end, unfortunately. And that's the way that Justin TV works. When you guys watch this later, watch the rerun later on YouTube, and you'll see a big, big difference. Jake says he likes to highlight on the top of the hair from the hair light coming down. Once again, that's a $30 Young Nuo flash. Very cheap, very easy to use. It's triggering off of this flash, so I don't have a wireless trigger on it. How about putting the hair light behind Mary's head, but pointed toward the camera? And that would be okay, Andy. I'd love to do that, but the room we're shooting in is like about 3 foot by 3 foot. Where I'm standing and where she's standing, and the camera's like right here. So we'd love to do that, but really it's just impossible to do that. Jake said he really likes the ones on the screen now. I do too. That's a really nice shot. It looks good. Very nice. Look at the catch lights. If you guys can see the catch lighting in her pupils, that they're perfectly aligned where they should be. Peter said he's shooting with his 50mm lens to capture the screen. Yeah, you never saw distortion before, Jake. I don't know what changed on Justin TV. I mean, we can change. Here's what we'll do, though. I'm going to change now. Let's try to change the lens and see if it makes any difference. But on our screen here, it looks perfect. So let's try that. We will go from the 50mm lens to my 24x70, and we'll see if we can change the picture for you guys. So I wonder if it is something to do with the lens, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't distort it, especially elongate. Especially, I mean, 50mm. It's shooting at 70, so we'll see if we can open this up a little bit. So we'll go with the 24x70 Sigma. We shot with this before. That's the first time I ever used a 50mm, so let's see where we're at. Okay, so that's shooting at, well, about 50mm on that particular lens. then you can let me know if that looks any different to you guys or not. We get closer here and shoot. No, not that close. Nah. I can't do it because I can't tighten in on the backdrop. Here, we'll do it back here. This is, we're going to shoot this at 70 and see where we're at. All right. So we'll see if those are elongated also. If it is, then it could be something they changed on their end. Yeah, it looks the same, Debbie said. Brian said the same thing. Yes, so it's not the lens, it's just a 4x3 window, Andy said. Yeah, and Debbie said it has to be just on TV, so that's just a downside. I think before we did some live shooting that we also did on Vaughn Live, which could have been different. I don't know that to be sure, if it was or not. But, all right. Okay. So at that point, what we're going to do now is actually, I'm going to actually let Mary go, I guess. And we're going to switch over here and just stop. We're going to get into the Lightroom a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit of playing around with these pictures just to give you a brief overview of Lightroom. It is black and white. Oh, you mean with all black and white? And we can do that too. We'll play around with that. So, all right. So let me go ahead and switch over, and we're going to say goodbye to Mary. She can leave for the day. So I'm sure she'll be back another time here. So let's switch over, and we'll go back to the other computer, and I'll see you guys there. Let me switch over here. Okay. So we're going to look at some of these pictures here live. I think I actually, if anybody's listening to the audio side, I don't know if you are or not, but it looks like it started over, which would be pretty interesting to see how that worked. Because there's a 45-minute limitation, so I don't know if it starts over after that happens or what happens there. Yeah, Mike, we're not recording in 4x3. I'm recording in 1080 by 720, but naturally I cannot produce that. I cannot push 1080 by 720 out because I don't have the bandwidth to do so. That is a problem there. All right. Let's come back over here. And what we're doing now, and I don't know if this came through or not for the audio stuff, because, you know, audio is tough to begin with. But to explain to people what we were doing there, let's go back to our G key. Well, here, let's bring our tools back up. And we will now go. Let's see if we can bring this up. All right. So what we're going to look at now here for the last couple minutes of this show is we are going to look at some of these pictures. And Mary wanted me to go in here, and she wanted to create these and turn some of these black on white. And I'm going to show you that, how easy that is to do. Go ahead and capture a screen here. iMac. Capture it, and we'll bring this up here. And bring this over here. So I don't know if you're using Lightroom out there or not, or if not, this will give you a little demonstration of the power of Lightroom, how easy it is to work with. It's a really nice program. All right. Let's do a Command or Control. There we go. Let's bring this back up. Okay. So we're going to go into the developer module here. And when you're in the developer module, bring up our tools over here. We have a lot in here that we can do with the picture before it ever hits anywhere else out there. So the actual part, let's see here. I'm just looking here to see what's going on in the chat room. Okay. And Jessica said she hopes I actually print and hang up some of these, and we may do that because these came out really, really nice today. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to show you really quick how easy it is to change this to black and white. So the pictures here, the first thing I would want to do, though, is I just want to right-click, and I want to create a virtual copy. So if you right click on this, you can go in here and actually create a virtual copy. So what that allows us to do is work on one picture, obviously, and have the other picture left alone. So let's say you wanted to change this to black and white. All you got to do is drop this saturation right here and just drop it to 0. And there you go. So that quickly, it's a black and white photo. And you may say when you do that, that you just took some of the highlights out of that, and now you have to actually bring up some of the lighting. So we can work with the whites, the blacks. If you can see here, the blacks is very much on a histogram on the left-hand side. And that is strictly, that's really because we shot with a black background, right? So you knew there was going to be more blacks than anything else. But let's go ahead and work with the white. You can actually bring the white up. You can actually bring it and actually lighten her up a little bit there. Because if you open the exposure, what I found there, you're opening all the exposure. So you don't want to do that. So let's take that back to nothing. And we'll just work with the whites. The white is looking at the highlighted areas. Whatever is lit is what the white is working on. And the blacks obviously would be whatever's black. So if you want to make the blacks even darker, you can bring those down a little bit. So you can bring those up. The whites we can bring up a little bit. We can bring down. So you have that option. There it goes. That gives you a very, very nice looking, very good, well-defined picture. Now let's say you have one of those ones where we said, this one here, where we said the neck was kind of elongated and too light. So we want to take that, we want to drop that down, but let's say in camera we didn't catch that. So what we have to do here is we'll do it now. And the tool I like to use for that is the brush tool. So I click on the brush, come down here, and I'm just going to brush this area right in here. And as you're going to see right away, it's going to lighten up more, right? But what we're going to do is brush this down, come up here to exposure, and we're going to just drop that exposure right there. So actually, when you're doing this, you can actually drop that down a little bit. If you get a little bit on the chin or something there, this little light spot right here, or dark spot, we'll drop our brush size down. You can just clean that up a little bit and take the paint off there that you just used. But you can see now how easy it was to do that and actually darken that down a little bit. So it's very, very easy to do. And in Lightroom, it makes it very quick. Again, here's the same thing. We would just take the exposure and take this down a little bit. But let's say on this side you wanted to raise the exposure. That's very easy also, because all you got to do is use your brush tool again and use your brush tool and just go over this side of face over here, just really lightly. You're going to pull some of those shadow areas up. Just say like that, and we could just bring the exposure up there a little bit. You can see how we can lighten it very easily. You might even want to go across the forehead right here where it looks like the light was kind of darkened down there a little bit, just like so. So it's very easy. So I just wanted to show you really quickly that Lightroom is very, very easy to use, and it's a piece of cake. Okay, with that said, though, I appreciate everybody coming in there this morning. I appreciate all of our family out there on Justin TV coming in today, friends of the show watching, the chat room, how you guys can actually chat it up there. And Andy just asked, how can you tell which was the original and which is the virtual copy? Let me see if I can bring that back up here, and I will show you that. The virtual copy, if you can see it down here on the bottom where I'm pointing right here, has a little tab on it. The little tab on the bottom left-hand side of your picture, that tells you that's the virtual copy. The other one would not have that tab. So that's a very good question, Andy, and I appreciate you asking that. Okay, but for that, I appreciate everybody being here this week. If you caught me on the audio side on Spreaker.com, that's again Spreaker.com. If you caught me on there, hopefully everything sounded okay. I know some of it probably doesn't transfer over as well as video because you can't see what we're doing. But if you're in the car, at least you can keep up and you know what was going on. So, Flyer here, thank you very much. Saying it's an interesting show today. I do appreciate that. And if the ads did not come out, I do want to thank our sponsors, which was Amazon.com, GreenscreenWizard.com, and as well as, boy, they just left my mind altogether there. Anyway, I'll just let's say thanks to all of our sponsors out there today for helping with the show, and please support our sponsors. I would greatly appreciate that. So don't miss also, and the first timer there, JKW122 is the first timer. Good morning to you. Please follow me on Justin TV. And if you're not on Spreaker.com, please go over there, create a basic account, and just follow me there also. It's Jack's Tech Corner you're looking for. Make sure you catch my new show Wednesday nights. Wednesday night we're on at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is called Tech Talk. It's a great little show I'm starting here, and we'll talk about all things technology related. So if you're into technology, or if you want to learn more about your personal computer, then by all means stop in there, and we will definitely have a decent show then to work with you. So as always, folks, until next time, and oh wait, let me back up 1 minute. For all those ones that completed your assignments, I do appreciate it. We didn't get them on this week. Sorry about that. But I tell you what, if you want to put more assignments on there, that was on the focus stuff we had last week, the sharpness and the multifocal points. And if you want to do a session for this week, you can do a controlled lighting shoot. I would love to see. I know a lot of you have lights out there, or speed lights. Do some control stuff, and maybe put those up. Let me see some of your work. I would love to see that. You don't have to have the hair light if you don't have a way to hold the light up above, or if you don't have two lights. But just control it on somebody's facial features. I think that would be really, really cool to see some of those. And then we'll have a slideshow next week with all of those pictures if you get some in. So, once again, thanks everybody out there for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep those shutters clicking. Keep your editors editing. And I'll see you back here very soon on Jack's Tech Corner for another Photography Weekly. Thanks, folks. Man, I got a lot to clean up in here. We'll see you next week. Bye.